Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here today. We're going to take a closer look at MATIC. We're going to look at the technical data, no fundamentals whatsoever, just strictly technical charts. So if you came for something else, perhaps you're in the wrong place, but I guarantee if you stick around, you will learn a thing or two. Because that is kind of the premise here, is to ensure that you understand more about how to read charts and effectively become a better trader. So thank you again for joining me here, and of course, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I'm here to help you with an educational journey through the cryptoverse in the analytic side of technical charts. Whatever that means. Also, do your own research, please. Just make sure you are doing your own due diligence, of course, because there are two sides to making an investment. That's the fundamentals and the technicals, and you need to know both. So always do your own research. Very last thing I want to mention is that we do have a link in the description below for our Telegram community. Really awesome group of people. Also $25 in Bitcoin from Voyager. Please reference that as well. We'll go ahead and get right to it. Let's take a look. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at MATIC Network. Let's see what's going on right now. And just to preface too, I apologize. If you're new to the channel, I always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, just so you know what they're doing, because oftentimes they are the catalyst for price movement on any and all currencies, especially altcoins. So I like it to kind of draw perspective really quick so we know what's going on in the market, and then we can move on to what we're looking at here today, which is MATIC. Okay, so first things first, let's take a look at Bitcoin. And I just want to draw quick, kind of quickly draw your attention to the obvious indicator here. Take a look at this guy. The significant price decrease, the sell-off from 58 down to about 50, 54. It's recovered since, and it looks like it's going to be bouncing back, but it does look like the price came all the way down to 54,600 and tested the 100-day moving average, rejected, and came back up. What we're hoping for, though, is for the price to continue back above the 57,000 range, because that's where Bitcoin has a major support and resistance level, which is at 57,000. That's where the 200-day moving average is currently holding. And in case you don't know, historically the 200-day moving average, this deep purple line, has significantly been a strong support level, but also a strong resistance depending on the time of year. So right now it's kind of testing that. So we want to see what happens. Hopefully it stays above and holds above for a few more days and then just takes off, kind of like we saw here, just the opposite, going upwards. That's what we're hoping for, so all the altcoins can jump on and up, and we can all make more money before things decide to go to hell later in the year. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. That's the 4-hour chart, by the way. I forgot to mention that. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. This is a 4-hour red bar. Ethereum is next. Just to quickly get perspective here, I just want to note these were the 3 major sell-offs for Bitcoin right here on the 17th, again on the 22nd, and then finally on the 25th. But as you can see, Ethereum jumps up every time, recovers quite quickly, because when people jump ship off of Bitcoin, they go right to Ethereum. So it's essentially when Bitcoin does poorly, Ethereum tends to increase contrary to that. So as you can see, really hasn't affected it tremendously. Obviously it did, but not quite the way that most others were affected. So that is Ethereum, and then again, this is a 4-hour chart. Just taking a quick look at that, there was a major sell-off here as well. So obviously it's not perfect. Bitcoin does impact Ethereum as well. All right, let's take a look at MATIC now. So what we always do is we take a look at the 1-day chart, 4-hour chart, down to the 15, and then possibly the 1, just kind of see if we can identify a good entry point for you, but also get perspective on the big picture so we know specifically what's going on with it. Now, I've covered MATIC quite a few times in the recent past, so if you can see here, just really quick to note, we got these couple support and resistance levels, support and resistance, and another as well. So what we might have to do is extend out one of these support levels and see how it's reacting to the price. It kind of looks like there's a line drawing right here. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. 1-day chart. First of all, we can get rid of this guy. That was a major resistance from before, right there. And on the 1-day chart, you can kind of see that the RSI was overextended. We've experienced a bit of a sell-off here recently. Makes sense. I mean, that was a significant increase. What did MATIC do? In a matter of 2 days, MATIC jumped up 121%. That's a pretty substantial jump. I mean, over 3 days, 141%. So it's no wonder why the price is coming down a little bit. But what's cool is the fact that the price hasn't toppled down. And even in spite of what just happened with Bitcoin, it doesn't seem to be really in that terrible of shape. It's not in dire straits, because a lot of other coins are just doing really poor right now. So just keep that in mind. That shows good longevity, I feel, for MATIC. I think it is, I wouldn't say recession proof, but it definitely helps. That it's not going to be just destroyed when Bitcoin does what it wants. Because if you look here, this is the 17th right here. 17th is this guy right here. So yes, it was impacted, but it bounced back and consolidated. Then again on the 22nd, same thing, bounced back, and then on the 25th, it went crazy. Right on the same exact day that Bitcoin took its third sell-off, right? So again, just something to be aware of. I think those are good things to look for in an investment, and I think this is still a sound financial investment. But what we want to do here is find a good entry point. Obviously, take advantage of the price being a little bit lower. So hopefully we can find that here today. Just to quickly note as well, RSI is finally calming down. We're down in the 60s, so we're down to 67 it looks like, which is a good sign, good positive technical sign there, as well as the fact that the MACD is shifting to bearish sentiment. Okay, so the momentum is leaving bull town and it's calming down, which is fine. That's completely normal. Nothing to read into. It doesn't mean we're going to be seeing a bunch of lower lows. It just means that there's indecision in the price right now, and the average true range is narrowing, which means there could be a breakout in the near future. So these are all positive things in my opinion, and in fact I do see kind of a bit of a wedge forming here, so I might pick that up a little bit later. So looking at the 4-hour chart, let's see here. So this is that consolidation pattern is referring to. As we can see, all the moving averages too. The 50-day moving average does appear that it was tested today, and just about, almost touched it. You could effectively say it was tested. And then also too, bear in mind that RSI is right around the middle, right at 45. That's almost perfect. That's essentially neither overbought or oversold. So it's perfect in the sense that the price is leveling out and kind of channeling horizontally, but it's imperfect in the sense also that it doesn't really give you an indication to buy, right? Because we don't know. There's indecision. It's basically in between right now, so it could either go up or down. We don't technically know, but the 15-minute chart should tell us a little bit better about an entry point. But at this point, I can tell you that RSI being where it's at, volume being much lower, and the MACD being almost level with one another, tells me that there is indecision and there's not a lot of price movement happening right now. So we should see a breakout in the fairly near future once a major support or resistance level is tested. So we'll just pay attention to that, but unfortunately not great news there in that sense, but it's not terrible either. Moving on to the 15, let's take a look at the 15-minute chart, and this is obviously what just happened with Bitcoin there. Curious if that's the same percent. That's about a little over 4% decrease in price. And you know what, that makes me wonder, how big of a difference was this here for Bitcoin? 4.5, 4.7. Yeah, so almost identical in that sense. So as you can tell that, MATIC was impacted by this sell-off here, but a lot of times that happens, it's just the immediate shock value of what happens. So looks like it's recovering, it's come back up, nothing super bad to worry about. And what's kind of cool too is it's creating a potential support line as well. So we'll look at that here actually in just a moment. In fact, why don't we do that right now? I'd like to identify support levels before we go any further. So this previous one here, roughly about 74 cents. I'm just going to extend that out because that was a previous resistance level and now it's turned support, and it's been tested 2 to 3 times since it originally acted as a resistance level. Oh, actually 4 to 5 times because there's a few more right there. So that's a really good sign. Okay, we're also going to extend these out too, so we can kind of see what we're working with a potential resistance line. And what do you know, big surprise, previous support and resistance line was tested at 86 cents, rounded price at 87 cents, and that was yesterday. Okay, so it's working itself into this little channel right now. Neither bad nor good, it's just kind of working its range there. And then if we look at the RSI, nothing super crazy to note. Obviously you can see here that it dipped below 30. So the opposite effect happens. So instead of the price jumping up, hitting a peak and then selling off for a retracement, the opposite's happening here. It retraced all the way down under 30 and now there's a recovery. Okay. So it basically just means that it's not a terrible point to take entry. So in a scenario like this, if you're not just say short-term swing trading, just say under 24 hours and or day trading, then it wouldn't be terrible to consider adding to your position so you can average down if you have a higher price, based on the fact that that it is testing that support level, and if it holds, then you'll be in pretty good shape. I wouldn't recommend adding much, right? Don't do a lot because we still don't know if the price will come under or if it'll come up and go above. Because right now the price is under VWAP, and I don't love that. I don't like it when the price is under VWAP. I typically am, again, I'm a risk-averse trader myself, so buying in under VWAP I think is too much of a risk. I don't think it's well recommended to do that until you have confirmation above for at least 30 minutes. So just keep that in mind, please. Price is under VWAP right now. So if you are, again, trying to average down because you got a really high entry point up here, wouldn't be terrible, because MATIC does appear to be channeling, and a lot of times when it channels like this after a significant increase and doesn't come down as far as like another, because a lot of times when it comes up this high, it comes down at least 50% and then continues to try to come back up. Now it went all the way up, it only lost maybe 10 or 20%, and now it's in a channel. So that tells me that that's a positive technical sign that as long as Bitcoin continues to hold at 55 or higher, then this will go back up again. We should see likely another increase. That's the only reason why I'm kind of saying that it wouldn't be terrible to consider averaging down if you have a higher position, or even averaging up a little bit if you have a lower position to add to your position. But just be careful. Again, if this is a long-term thing and MATIC is your end-all be-all, then please, of course, jump on in and add to your position. But if you're looking at just a short-term day trade, let's take a closer look and make sure we can find a better entry point for you. Or perhaps even now is a good time. Let's see. Let's see what the 1 minute chart tells us. So a lot of ups and downs, of course, is trying to figure it out after that major sell-off. Still under VWAP. I don't like that. A little bit lower volume than we're used to. So I mean, yeah, there's only one other thing to do here. So let's find the lowest point here after retracement. And let's see. All right. So, based on what we see here, you can see some pretty major support, resistance levels. Yeah, I just don't like it, honestly. I wouldn't consider taking entry until this support line is tested again, and or the price comes up over VWAP and holds. So if you're going to be just say doing a day trade, wait till the price comes up over the volume weighted average price, the VWAP line here at roughly 79 cents, and see if it holds above for no less than 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, again, that's only on the 1 minute chart if you're doing a day trade. If you're doing a short-term swing trade, use the 15-minute chart. Wait for the same indicators, only wait for 30 minutes to close above and beyond the volume weighted average price, or to bounce off the support level down below, which is approximately 74.5 cents, and wait for the same indicators. Okay, 2 solid green bars and RSI under 70. Okay, now let's take a quick look at the RSI. Being really low, that's not a terrible thing. That is actually very, very good. Only problem is that the MACD isn't essentially swinging upwards, but honestly I don't really care for the MACD anyways on the 1 minute chart. So I don't know, I don't love this, but it does look like it might be testing this little support level here. So just know that I don't recommend taking entry until it tests either the VWAP or the support level no less than 30 minutes on a 15-minute chart for a swing trade, or no less than 10 minutes on the 1 minute chart for a day trade. Okay. But other than that, yeah, overall, major sentiment here, I do say, oh wait, you know what's what we gotta do? We've gotta take a look at the wedge form. because there might be a wedge pattern forming here. Because we got this support level right here. We'll pull that out. Now let's see. Highest point here. Yeah. So it'll probably be a couple of days before we see a major breakout, but just be prepared. I would say, I don't know, somewhere around the 5th or the 6th, we may experience some type of breakout. Could go up or down depending on the overall sentiment. Again, if Bitcoin's doing well, I would speculate the price will jump up, and if we can hold this support level of 0.074, correction, 74 cents, then I think we'll be in pretty good shape to see the price continue upwards. Okay, so just pay attention that could very well be what we'll see. And again, likely what happens anytime you see a major breakout followed by a short period of consolidation, there's likely another breakout to follow. Okay, and this one, MATIC, is interesting because it does tend to repeat itself, right? Increase, consolidation, increase, consolidation. It's kind of doing the same pattern over and over. So I would not be surprised if it consolidated and then it increased again. The only thing we got to just pay attention to is that resistance level at 87 cents. We'll see what happens when that's tested again. So hopefully this provided more insight to you. I apologize, I know I jumped around a lot more than usual, but there's some interesting little things forming here and things we'd probably just want to be aware of moving forward. But I would say that the price would probably be a lot more stable right now, and it would not have tested that support level of, what, 74 cents if it wasn't for Bitcoin's major dump today. Okay, so we just got to pay attention to Bitcoin. I would recommend you see how Bitcoin reacts, and based on the overall price action here, it'll kind of tell us what's going to happen with MATIC. But if we can stay over, honestly, 55,000 on Bitcoin and trend above this 57,000 line, we're going to be in very, very good shape to see MATIC likely do more things. Okay. Again, that's just my guess. Not a financial advisor, but in my experience, history has a tendency of repeating itself, especially in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency, as well as the fact that Bitcoin is causing this to be the catalyst. All right, enough ranting and raving from me here. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you sticking around to the end if you did. And obviously, we'll see you in the next video. I'll pay closer attention to MATIC over the next couple of days because I do think we are likely in a consolidation phase, and it's just like kind of pre-breakout stage. Something's going to happen, something major, and it's likely in the next 2 to 3 days. Okay. Well, I hope that works. Best of luck on everything for all of you. Thanks again for joining me here. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.